Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's Foundation Friday for over 50s, we are going to be testing out the new foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. It's their beautiful skin foundation. This retails for $44 for 1 ounce of product and it comes in 30 shades. It's supposed to be a buildable, medium coverage, hydrating, smoothing, plumping, pore reducing, healthy looking glow foundation that we'll wear for 16 hours. So we are going to put all those claims to the test today on my more mature, less than perfect skin. I'm 59. I have combo skin. I tend to be a little bit oily through the T-zone, but a little bit dry around some other parts of my face. The rest is all normal. I have my fair share of wrinkles, age spots, and other things that I want to cover up, and I'm looking for a perfect foundation that makes my skin look better than it is and wears all day. So I've tried this already for 2 days. Today is the 3rd day, and each day you get about a 10-hour wear test on it. We take a look at it in different lighting conditions. We take it out into the bright sunshine, natural window light. We do a darkened room flash test on it. So if you love a thorough foundation review, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. So let's get started looking at the new one from Charlotte Tilbury. This comes in a plastic squeezy tube. It does have a nice pump dispenser under the cap. The ingredients are pretty standard. There's water and silicones and some other things. It does claim to have skincare ingredients in there, and there are a few in there like hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. I am not a big advocate for skincare in my foundation just because I put on my skincare in the morning way before makeup, then I put on sunscreen, and then I put on makeup. Charlotte Tilbury is a cruelty-free brand, and this product, they say on the website, is a vegan-friendly formula. So I actually purchased this in 3 different shades. You're going to see me wearing it in the 3 different shades on the 3 different days that I'm trying it. Today I'm wearing the shade 5 Neutral, and let me bring in the swatches for you so you can see the differences between 4 Neutral, 5 Neutral, and 6 Cool. On the Charlotte Tilbury website, they do have a shade finder where you can upload a picture of yourself. I did that. It recommended to me shade 4 Neutral, but I felt like that was a little bit too pale for me. This shade that I'm wearing today, 5 Neutral, I think is okay. I don't feel like I'm getting a really good shade match in any of these. I purchased all 3 shades myself, and I suppose having 30 shades that there might be a shade match for me, but I didn't really want to buy another, so I cut it off at 3. All right, so the first day of testing, I like to not add a lot of helpers with it to see how it does on its own. I did have my sunscreen on though. I do a base of Elta MD UV Elements SPF 44 mixed with Dr. G Green Mild Up Sunscreen SPF 50. I didn't use a primer. This is shade 6 Cool. 1 pump out on the back of my hand. I used a Beauty Blender sponge to apply it to one side of my face. It's funny, it has almost a sticky feel with applying it with the sponge. It's almost like the sponge is like gripping onto my skin. And I use the BK Beauty 101 brush to apply it to the other side. Using 1 pump, I was able to do pretty much my entire face. I'd need a little bit extra for my neck. All right, first impressions on the new Charlotte Tilbury. I love it. I'm so shocked. I have never met a Charlotte Tilbury foundation that I've liked, and this one is so pretty on the skin. It looks like nothing. It doesn't look like makeup. It just like melts right into your skin. It is a little bit luminous. For me, I'm gonna have to powder down my T-zone, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Today, I'm just gonna leave it. It went on easily and blended out really, really smoothly with both the sponge and the brush. 1 pump gave solid medium coverage that evened out my skin tone, reduced my redness, but it did leave some of my age spots showing through. All right, and here is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation with the rest of my makeup on. Played well with the powder blush I used today, played well with my concealer. So all in all, I think it looks good, really skin-like and natural. I feel like it has gotten shinier through my T-zone during just the 10 minutes that it took me to do my makeup. So I'm gonna leave it unpowdered just to see if it gets super shiny during the day. And then I also noticed that it has settled in my little smile line down here already. It's only been on for 10 minutes. So far, no settling in my crow's feet. and no settling in my forehead wrinkles. Hey everybody, I'm back. It's time for the 5-hour check-in, but it's actually been 6 hours. My alarm went off, but I ignored it and I just remembered, oh my gosh. So here I am. The foundation I think has gotten pretty darn luminous throughout the day. It actually got pretty shiny after about 2 or 3 hours. Up close, it's definitely like breaking up on the surface and getting a little bit mottled and thin. It is still settled in the wrinkle here, but I just feel like it's just a little thin right through here. If I zoom you in, if you can see that it's just kind of like looking a little bit broken up on the surface. Right in here, it's just looking a little bit like mottled and broken up in there. Hey guys, I'm back for the 10-hour check-in on the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. My skin does not look beautiful. It is so worn off. Just really not happy with this at 10 hours. Was really shiny, continues to be really shiny. I didn't do anything today. I didn't wear a mask. Like, my tinted moisturizer wears better than this with a mask on. And this one I didn't have any reason for this to wear off. So kind of mad at it. And in addition to being super shiny and making me look greasy up here, it looks really super dry and like broken up and mottled over here. I mean, it kind of looked like that at the 6-hour check-in. It still continues to look just like super dry, but yet super greasy everywhere else, so. Overall, this was not a good day one. This was not a good start with this foundation. So on day 2, I switched it up and used a chemical sunscreen. They tend to be not as thick and they don't tend to affect your makeup as much. But I gotta say the one I use, the Isntree Watery Essence SPF 50, the finish using this sunscreen tends to be a little bit shinier than with my mineral sunscreens. So I decided to use a mattifying primer on one side of my face to help with the shine. I used Beauty Blender, the Leveler Primer. That one usually helps to minimize the look of my pores and texture and give me more of a satin or velvety look. I applied the foundation with my fingers on one side of my face. Today I'm using shade 4 Neutral, the one that the Charlotte Tilbury Shade Matcher recommended, which to me looks a little bit light and a little bit grayish. I used 4 Neutral alone on the first side of my face, but for the second side, since it was looking a little bit light, I mixed in a little bit of 6 Cool to darken it up slightly. I applied the foundation with a damp sponge. I like the combination of 6 Cool and 4 Neutral the best, I think, as far as a shade match goes. Applying with the fingers gives fuller coverage than applying it with a sponge. The sponge gave a nicer blend and smoother application though. Based on the level of shine that I had after a few hours on day 1, I went ahead and added a setting powder. I added Honest Beauty Blurring Mattifying Powder to my T-zone. Adding the powder made it look very matte and did disguise my texture and pores, but also made it look a little bit dry and a little bit heavier. It does look just like a little bit dry in through here, and especially on the primer side. I think between the combo of the primer and the powder is just like a little bit too much mattifying for this one, too many products. Maybe this is one that doesn't work well with a lot of products, a little bit finicky. So I feel like in here it just looks a little dry. Definitely have the settling in the wrinkles here and here. Makeup today, I went with cream products for my blush and bronzer. So I have the Glossier Cloud Paint. It went on very nice over this. It plays very nice with cream products. I used the KVD Mod Con for my bronzer. That blended in really nicely. Didn't just remove the makeup, so those were good with it. And on the eyes, I have this tiny little e.l.f. quad, which is called the Bite Size Eyeshadow in Rosewater. It was a beautiful sunny day, so I grabbed my vlogging camera and went outside to show it to you in the bright sunshine, and then also stood in front of a window to let you see what it looks like in natural window light. I also took a flash picture of it in a darkened room, and here's the flash picture. I think it looks nice, but it definitely looks like it's giving me a little bit of flashback. 5-hour check-in on the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. From a distance, I think it looks fine. I think the color is much better today. Today, I'm happier with it than I was the first time I wore it. It doesn't seem to be getting as shiny through my T-zone. Of course, I did powder it, so that is mainly thanks to the Honest Beauty powder, but it is getting a little bit shiny right around here at this point, and just a little bit like by the sides of my nose. It's not anything that's making me feel like I look greasy or, bad in any way. I think it's fine. So all in all, kind of liking this. For 5 hours, I think it's not too worn off, but then again, I haven't done anything today. I didn't wear a mask. Up close, it doesn't look as good as it does from far away. So I don't really love how it looks through here. I feel like this is one of the ones that's making the creasing on my upper lip a little bit more evident. And again, the settling in here, I don't like. Yeah, it seems like it's definitely wearing a little bit weird on the primer side. Up here, it seems to be sliding around a little bit. So I'm not loving how it played with the primer. At 10 hours, it was definitely wearing better with today's sunscreen and with the addition of setting powder than it had looked at 10 hours the first time I wore it. But I can't say that it looked fantastic either. Pretty worn off on my nose, pretty worn off between my eyebrows, pretty worn off on my chin over here. It's got like a big gloober up under my nose there. Not pretty. So I don't think the primer did anything for it. I just don't love it. I think it looked okay for most of the day, but not great. Not the worst I've seen either, but just okay. So let's move on to day 3, which is today. Today I decided to go back to my mineral sunscreens since I can't really wear chemical sunscreens more than one day without it irritating my skin. But I switched it up and used one that tends to be a longer wearing combination. And that's my Elta MD UV Elements SPF 44 mixed with Paula's Choice SPF 30 Super Light Sunscreen. Then I decided to do a Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray sandwich with it. So I gave myself a spritz of setting spray as a primer, applied the foundation with a blending sponge, put on the rest of my makeup, added some It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores powder, and then gave it all another sealing in shot with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Setting Spray. So here's what it looks like today with the rest of my makeup. I used a stick blush and a stick highlighter, and I do feel like it did kind of remove the foundation a little bit on my cheek. I used 2 pumps of the foundation today to build up the coverage to see if I could get full coverage out of it. I actually think it looks nice. I think the full coverage is good. I don't think it's accentuating any of my pores or wrinkles right now. Of course, I did set it with the It Cosmetics setting powder, which is helping to disguise my pores here. But overall, I think it looks really nice right now. I probably had it on for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes already today. I forgot to look and see if it settled in my wrinkles this way. Yep. Yeah, it's settled in my smile lines again. Apparently, no matter what I put on under it or over it, it's not going to keep it from settling in my smile lines. I have to make these funny faces so you can see it settled in there. I do have some errands to run, so I will be wearing a mask with it today. So I will be back and I'll see you in about 5 hours. All right, hi, I'm back. It's time for the 5-hour check-in on our last day of testing with the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I gotta say, today it's wearing much, much better than it did on the first day with this group of stuff. I did wear a mask for about a half an hour today, and I'm getting very little rub off from the mask, so I think it still looks really good overall. Yeah, my problems with it are really more up close problems than far away problems. Like if I look in here and kind of stretch the skin out, it just has like these little like micro cracks where it just isn't sitting nicely on the skin. It just makes it look a little bit just dry, I guess. It kind of looks a little deserty in through there. Here. Hey, I'm back. It's time for the almost 10-hour check-in. It's very worn off on my nose, worn off on my chin. A little bit worn off on my forehead. I mean, it's not the worst wear I've seen ever, but it just isn't giving what they promised and what I hope for out of a foundation. I like 10 solid hours of good wear. The problem for me is how drying this is and how they go out of their way to make these big claims about how hydrating it is. Like it gives you 216% more hydration, or I don't even know what the numbers are. Even though it's called Beautiful Skin, I haven't felt like my skin looked beautiful for probably 95% of the time that I've had it on. So you can see in here how it just is all like gathered up in here, but it just looks really dry and it's really mottled. It just doesn't look pretty. And over here where it's settled in my wrinkles, and it's just making this whole part of my face, my skin, look really dry and cracked and just not nice. And then up here on my forehead, you know, it's not worn off too terribly badly, but it is like settled in my wrinkles and it just doesn't look good. So I guess we've gotten to the point in the video where we run down the pros and the cons. So let's start on the pros side. The pros are that it's easy to apply. It goes on well with fingers, brush, or sponge. It does have a natural skin-like finish if you use about 1 pump of it, put it on fairly sparingly. I did really like how it looked at first. I thought it looked very natural, very skin-like, not heavy, not like makeup. It does have a really radiant finish, which to me is not necessarily a pro, but I know a lot of people like a radiant finish, so I'll go ahead and put it over there for you guys. For me, it's a little too radiant and I have to powder it down. And it has a nice medium buildable coverage. You can build it up to fuller coverage if you want, and it works pretty well building on itself. So on the con side are that it settles into wrinkles right away. It will find all your wrinkles and get in there and cake up in there and just not look good. The wear time is not great. I would give this, depending on what you have on under it, you can get between 5 and 10 hours out of it, but definitely for me, 3 days of wearing it, have not gotten more than 10 hours out of it. It does get shiny if you don't powder it. So if you're someone who is opposed to setting powder, I feel like you'll be shiny and greasy looking by the end of the day. It's a little bit finicky about what you put on under it. It didn't work well with the primer that I used, and it didn't work well with one of my sunscreen combos. And one of the worst things is that I find it to be super drying on my skin. So the verdict on this one is that while it wasn't terrible, I didn't love it either. I think it's just an okay foundation. I don't think there's any reason to like run to the store and give this a try and buy it. There are so many things that are so much better than this. And I always like to leave you with my favorite foundations currently, in case you're looking for a great foundation. My current holy grails are the Sephora Best Skin Ever. This is an awesome foundation, looks beautiful, doesn't dry out your skin, long wearing, really great. If you have dry skin, I really love and recommend the Estee Lauder Futurist Foundation. This is really hydrating, not pretend hydrating. Your skin doesn't look dried out by the end of the day. It does have a luminous finish, which you may like, or if you add powder to it, it looks beautiful with powder added to it. So that's a good one. And then I've also really been enjoying the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Foundation plus skincare. This one I would say is sort of similar to this guy in that it's offering you a foundation plus skincare, but this in my book is a way better foundation, looks better on the skin, looks more natural, the color selection is better. Everything about this I like better than the Charlotte Tilbury. And of course my current favorite, which isn't really a foundation, but that wears longer than the Charlotte Tilbury, it looks better and more natural than the Charlotte Tilbury, is the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator. It's like a tinted moisturizer, but it gives enough coverage that it's almost foundation-y, and it looks so natural and so beautiful on the skin. And then for a drugstore product, my current favorite is the L'Oreal True Match Nude, another beautiful foundation, wears longer, looks better, more natural, better color selection than the Charlotte Tilbury. So unfortunately, didn't love the Charlotte Tilbury. If you've tried it, I would love to know what you think of it. If you want to know where it ranks on the list of all the foundations I've ever tried, there are over 100 on there. And the link to that list is always in the description box below the video, along with the link to my Foundation Friday playlist. So if you're looking for a foundation review or reviews on any of the things I just mentioned that are my holy grails, you can find them in that playlist. So that is it for today's video, everybody. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you did, go ahead and give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And as always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.